We are the Geek Speak Show, and we're here at WonderCon Anaheim. And in front of us, we have Francois here, that was a production designer for Logan. Welcome, and tell us a little bit what you did for Logan.
I was the production designer on the movie, so I had to kind of build the world that everyone, and figure out the trail that they go on their adventure.
And also, just being a big fan of the movie itself. If you haven't already seen it, we're just going to spoil it for you anyways. It was amazing. I mean, one thing that I do ask, since I'm a twin myself, how was it just filming, you know, two of Logan's? Like, you have Project, I believe it was X, and then just the original Logan, who was all beaten up and everything.
Yeah, that was really interesting. Yeah. Of course, X-24 was this new creation that James Mangold came up with for the film, and it was an opportunity for Logan to sort of fight himself. And when we were doing this on set, it was all with stand-ins and doubles, so we weren't really sure how this was going to work. You had to kind of use your imagination. We would do it all with Hugh Jackman fighting his stunt double, and then later, many months later, it just turns into sort of movie magic.
That sounds awesome. I mean, like, I have my own twin that I could fight, so I bet it was hard just to see Hugh Jackman, like, fighting himself in the movie. But also, for the visual effects, when it comes to, you know, it's blanking on my name right now, but just for every superhero power that you could think of, how long was the creative process to take just to film those? Like, how many days would it take?
Well, the final third act battle was the last thing that we shot in northern New Mexico, right on the border of Colorado. And we had a couple weeks to shoot that, but it was incredibly tedious because it was in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of these beautiful mountains with children, and we were getting shut down with big lightning strikes and thunder and big thunderstorms that would come by and then there's a movie rule where you have to stop for half an hour after the last lightning strike. So it would shut everything down. And so it was just very, very slow and tedious to do that very complicated action.
Oh man, I could just imagine that, especially just watching that in school too, or just learning about it. I mean, also, I guess you could say that just being a production designer, is it one of the most stressful jobs, or is it fun on the other hand? Listen,
honestly, I think I have the most fun on the movie. I've got the best job in the movie because I get to sort of imagine what this could be, imagine the sets and locations, and then I work with a whole team of people who draw pictures, and I draw pictures too, and then you come back, they start building, and then in a couple of weeks, it's just what I imagined, maybe 6 months earlier.
All right, perfect. And then thank you so much again for being on here.
It's the Geek Speak Show at WonderCon Anaheim 2017. We are here. Those of you, the regulars, you heard him last week on the warm-up, the WonderCon episode. Now we're actually here. Clint Reagan. Clint, how are you doing?
Doing well.
How's your WonderCon going?
It's fun. Honestly, I'm embarrassed to say this is my first one. And, wow. There's a lot of fun stuff going on everywhere. It's really cool.
Have you been to other ones besides this
I haven't. I'm always working.
Okay, well, enjoy this one, because if you go to like the San Diego Comic-Con, that one is like just
enormous.
Chaos.
That's what I hear.
So you're on this one. The panel is not the movie Logan, but you worked on. What did you do actually for Logan?
I did pre-visualization. I was the supervisor. I also did post-visualization for Logan. In the pre-production phase, I worked with Francois, the production designer, the other department heads, and we just worked on any tool we could to figure out how to make the movie the story that Jim Mangold wanted to make.
Yeah, so and we talked a little bit on the show, so not just with Logan, but with any movie that you work on.
Yeah.
How difficult is it, or easy for you at this point, to make the director's vision become a reality on screen?
That's usually the fun part. It is a challenge, because you're finding my job is a lot about failure, in the sense of I make something and we find out that the director says, yeah, that's definitely not my movie. And so we try all sorts of things over and over until we find those bits that say, yes, that's closer to my movie. And then we follow that. And then we try some more options. And then we follow the next one that gets us there. And so those actual failures and attempts, we're always doing imperfect things that help us find the right thing later on. That's the process, and I do that through the computer, doing animation with my artists. I do animation, animate the characters, edit it all together, cut some rough sound, and see, is this even close? Is this the right mood for this film? And the director weighs in on that, and then we go back through the cycle of trying new ideas and trying new approaches.
And I'm sure something like that as a creative keeps you pretty humble because, like, hey, I did the greatest thing ever, but the director says, no, it's not that good.
Yeah, I lost that that pride
That
a long time
edge
ago.
or whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of have to.
There's no note that'll bug me anymore.
Well, does that translate to your personal life, or is that just
It's helped.
We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
So you worked, besides Logan, you worked on some other big movies that I'm sure everybody watching has watched. So name a few.
I got to help out a little bit on Force Awakens.
I think we heard of that one.
Yeah, that might be. It's a small indie film.
Yeah.
And then I worked on this
director JJ or something.
Something JJ HHII. I don't know,
Yeah.
something like that. I was on the SpongeBob movie as a supervisor for the live action portion of that, which was a blast. Working with Mike Mitchell. Let's see, what have I done that's fun? I actually got to do a ride recently that was really exciting, a Mass Effect ride up in San Jose, where I was the cinematic director for the movie, and we got to storyboard it, animate it, and final it, and take it all the way through.
Yeah, well, actually, let's go with that because I was wondering. We've seen, rides are getting pretty complicated. Not just the ride, but like getting the weight. It's not boring anymore because of all the stuff you guys do.
Right.
For that one, how complicated a process is that? Because to us, waiting in line is like 15 seconds or whatever it is. But for you guys, like I said, you plan the whole thing. So
it's a lot of work. And the challenge there is making sure that everybody can go home on time. Because deadlines are always there, and there's always more you want to do. In film and in art, it can always be better. It can always be prettier. It can always be nicer. And so the challenge is balancing where to invest your time so that you meet each goal as you progress down the pipeline until you can finally deliver the product.
Yeah, so it kind of ties into what you said a minute ago, where you think you have the greatest thing, but it's not really according to the director. That kind of helps right there.
And it might have been the greatest thing for me, but if it's not the greatest thing for him or her, then it's no go, and you move that direction. Oh.
Yeah. Now, I have to ask this one as the Star Wars fan again. I asked you on the show, so now that we're here on camera. Are you sure JJ didn't tell you who Rey is?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I have no secrets there.
Okay, so
he keeps them really close.
It's Clint Reagan. He worked on Logan, all these cool movies. Clint, thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.